Hi everyone, this NHL Hockey News Reports. We're back with another video, and today we're talking about top 5 NHL head coaches on the hot seat. Now, right now it's December 7th. We're a couple months in, so we had October, November, December. That's 3 months into the season, and some teams are saying, "Oh wow, we exceeded expectations," and some kind of surprising, like, why haven't we got our team better? Look at our record. Not good enough. We gotta start turning things around now. If you don't, the chances of you making the playoffs are very slim. Now, there's some teams that obviously are going through a rebuild, and those coaches usually, they're set. They're like, all right, we don't have to touch these coaches. Eventually, well, maybe at the end of the year we'll do something with them or something. Or wait, like the Coyotes, Blackhawks. Richardson, the Blackhawks. He's brand new, so that's new. The Coyotes, you just keep that. You don't fire your head coach for that. Um, teams like that. You keep, the coaches, not because of the record. They just brought new coaches in that they liked at the moment. So we're looking at teams. 5 teams here. We can look at the first team. It was hard to come up with 5, but since no one has been fired yet, any NHL head coaches, that's the rare. It doesn't happen. Usually it happens, around this time, maybe 1 or 2 by now, but right now we have 0. So we can talk about who's on the hot seat at this point. Starting off with number 5, coming in at number 5. Here we go. And that's the Anaheim Ducks of Dallas Eakins. I haven't heard anything about speculations here on the hot seat, but you look what this team was last year, and you look at the record. They were very good in the beginning of the year, looking, hey, we can make the playoffs. But by the end of the second half of the season, they fell off. And that was the thing. They didn't make the playoffs, all right. But they were still a young team, rebuilding, building up to a contender. And this year, they really haven't come to a great start at whatsoever. Looking at the record, they haven't even started good. Um, they're right on the bottom of the league. Actually, 32nd in the league. In 27 games, 17-3 with 17 points. Last year they were more like the opposite, 17-7. I know that wasn't the record, but it felt like that. And now those 7-17-3 with 17 points this season. That's a little like, okay, what happened there? Interesting. I don't think they're gonna fire him right now. That's the thing. I think they're gonna wait to the end of the season and be like, oh hey, we're gonna get into the top 3 pick. Obviously, this is where it's heading right now. Bedard, Fantini, Minchkov, someone like that. They get that. That's another win for them. But adding to the stacked group, but I think by the end of the season, maybe you see a change here with Pat Verbeek, changing the head coach. It's a possibility. But right now, I do not think so. That's why they're at number 5. So there you go, Dallas Eakins of the Anaheim Ducks. Moving on to number 4 here. Number 4 was supposed to have some good expectations here, and that's the Columbus Blue Jackets with Brad Lawson. And Brad Lawson hasn't gotten this team where it needs to be at this point. But you can also not just blame it on him. I haven't really heard much about him being on the hot seat at all. Zach Werenski's out for the season now. That's your best blue liner. That's not too good. Liney was out part of the time. Johnny Gaudreau's been, they signed him best free agent this season, this past off season. Adding to this team, going up to the cap. Usually, if you're a rebuilding team, you don't want to be up to the cap. You want to have 10, 20 million at least available. But they're right up to the cap right now, and they haven't done too good. And that's a concerning thought. It is, because, you're not doing too good and you're up to the cap. It's like, oh, what do we do, And it's like things haven't worked out. Even with Elvis Merzlikins, he hasn't been good at all, unfortunately, They play Teosov and Korpisalo, also the 3 goalies, but they still haven't been good enough. Unfortunately, they're supposed to be better, kind of be where they were last year, maybe a little bit better, especially knowing they brought in Johnny Gaudreau, and now knowing Jacob Voracek is out most likely for the season because of the concussion. He's vulnerable with that. That's unfortunate too. Even though he's not the guy he used to be, but that's another guy out of your top 6 or top 9 there. So it's unfortunate. I think Brad Lawson. They will wait like Dallas Eakins. Um, but we'll see what happens. Moving on to number 3 on the list here, starting to get a little bit more on the hot seat here. Starting about Ottawa Senators, people said they had the best offseason, right? The trades and the free agency, bringing Claude Giroux on a deal, trading for Alex DeBrincat, doing all that stuff, and in the beginning of the season, they lose their number 1 center and Josh Norris, and that's like, oh man, how do you lose a guy like that for the whole season, literally, of his shoulders? So that stings. I know you have Stützle and Kachuk and Batherson, and of course you have DeBrincat and Claude Giroux in there too, but losing a number 1 center like that, Josh Norris, and they don't have the best center depth. They don't have the best of it. And losing Josh Norris, it's just like, and the defense is not like the best. I know Thomas Chabot is your guy. Jake Sanderson, the rookie, looking pretty good, but that's his rookie season. You can't expect a lot of things from him in his rookie season. So yeah, and DJ Smith has this team 10, 14, and 1, 21 points, and they're 27th place in the NHL. 9th place in the Eastern Conference. That's not where they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be better than that. If they continue with this, I know they say, yeah, we have faith in DJ Smith. Yeah, you can say that, but guess what happens usually? You get fired. Sometimes that happens, Oh yeah, we have faith in them, and then you find out some weeks down the road, they get fired and someone else becomes the coach. But we'll see what happens. They gotta get better. And, we'll see what happens with that for sure. Moving on, number 2 on the hot seat. I think this is kind of, not a surprise whatsoever, even though they played pretty well recently, and that's the Vancouver Canucks and Bruce Boudreau. Bruce Boudreau, I don't know if he has, any future with the Canucks after the season, even though they're doing better now. Looking better. They're 11, 12, and 3 with 25 points for the season. They're getting to a 500 record. They're almost there. They're at .481. They're getting to a 500 record. That's pretty impressive after absolutely blowing leads in the beginning of the season and just being terrible. We'll see what happens. But I still don't think there's a future for Bruce Boudreau after the season. Not saying I don't like him as a coach. I think he's good. He brings the offense. He hasn't been the most successful in the playoffs, but I don't think the Canucks really care about this at the moment. They just want to get to the playoffs and see how things go. And he gives the offense, too. He shows, gets teams to score. So that's the thing, which is nice. But, we'll see what happens with Bruce Boudreau if that's very soon. We'll see. And moving on to number 1, which has been a hot topic lately, and which I had to put there, not meaning that he'll be fired like in a couple of weeks or some days, but that's the Rangers and Gerard Gallant. The record right now isn't the best. They are 12, 10, and 5. They have above a 500, points percentage, but the thing is, they're a contender now. And you look at that and you're like, come on, you can do better than that. And they've been changing up the lines. I mean, he's on the hot seat. There's been a lot of speculation about that. They hired him last year, and now it's like, come on, guys. Are you gonna do something? That's the thing. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, that's the thing. So we'll see what happens with Gerard Gallant. If he gets fired, but they're trying different things, putting some guys in the top 6 that usually in the bottom 6, it's like Jimmy Vesey in the top 6, like, okay, what are you doing that about? And some guys in the top 6 or in the bottom 6, like, what's that all about? But they said team analytics and who's been playing better than this guy, and I think he's just trying to get something because I think he's been feeling the pressure, like, hey, we're not missing the playoffs this year. We're a contender, remember? Who we are, we're a contender. Don't forget about that. And if they don't make the playoffs, that's going to be a season that They have failed. And the Stars are gonna like that because who's gonna like that? Not the Stars. Didn't they give up the first round pick? I don't know why I'm thinking. But no, not the Stars. I'm sorry. The Stars gave up the first round pick for the Neil Stone Never mind. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. The Rangers quite interesting, like, hey, come on. And Sisterkin hasn't been investing on caliber, level. We've seen that, goalies win the Vezina as the best goalie in the league, and then they don't have the same stats as, the year after. Not saying they're terrible, they just have kind of a little above average, stats. They'll bounce back, don't worry, that's not a problem. They just, it's hard to win back-to-back Vezinas. Whoever won back-to-back Vezinas in the modern era of hockey? I don't think anyone really, it's tough. Being a goalie, being the hardest position in sports, literally. So, thanks for watching this NHL News Sports, and like, subscribe, and all that, and I'll see you next video. Bye.